Welcome to Stoughton Spotlight. I'm your host, Jeffrey Pickette. We're continuing our Conversations with the Candidates series, and on this episode, I'm joined by one of the candidates for the Board of Selectmen. There are 6 candidates running for the Board of Selectmen in this election season. The town election, of course, is in April, and there are 2 seats on the board that are up for election, so 6 candidates vying for those 2 seats. And on this episode, I'm joined by Spanky Sousa, David Spanky Sousa, the current chairman of the Board of Selectmen. And you are going for your 2nd term on the board. So welcome, David.
Jeff, thank you. It's an honor to be Politics with Pickette. So that's what I look at. This is Politics with Pickette. So thank you for having me on.
All right, so we'll start right off with you're not afraid to say what's on your mind. You're not afraid to just kind of, in your words, tell it like it is. So how do you feel that approach has helped you, and has there been any times where maybe that's hurt you over the last 3 years?
Oh, absolutely. It has hurt me. I think it also helped me. When I ran 3 years ago, like I told you, I was on hand nervous. I didn't know what agendas were and everything else. I understand how this all works. I'm not a politician. I'm not going to sweet talk you, tell you anything else. I actually had a tie on for you today, but Roy Cohen took it off, says, if you don't wear a tie on my show, I can't wear one for you. But no, all joking aside, I don't wear ties. I'm not a shirt and tie person, but I do the parades, I wear suits and all that. Ties, it's just not who I am. It's not disrespecting the office. I love being a selectman, but I'm not gonna tell you something you don't wanna hear. I told you that to people from day one. Like I talk about this Kool-Aid, the magical drink. What you see is what you get. I'm down-to-earth person. You want something, you call me. I was at a resident's house this morning, 7:45 this morning, came from work, and I was dealing with the resident until 9:30, went home, showered, and got here quick enough to get on the show. People like to tell me I'm a part-time selectman. Well, little they know, after a 50-hour work schedule, last week I had over 50-hour straight shift of 50 hours. I come back home and I receive phone calls and put things on Facebook, as you see, and I drive around towns looking at the complaints, make sure the complaints are fixed, and calling people to see if these complaints can get fixed. I leave 9:45 from a meeting to go to work. It's not like I'm going home and say, hey, listen, I don't care about the town. People want to tell me I'm a part-time selectman. It's not a part-time selectman. I do 40 to 70 hours a week. What they don't see, I get phone calls all night of the day. You call, I'm at your doorstep knocking, talking to you. I return phone calls. So this is why and who I am. So does it hurt? Some things, yeah, I think it scares people. But I told you from day one what I was like. I'm not hiding myself. I'm not going to pretend to be somebody that I'm not, Jeff. So.
Well, you mentioned occasionally you would have to leave a meeting if it gets past a certain time. Is there a way to make these meetings run a little bit more efficiently so that they don't have to go past 10 o'clock?
I think meetings should start around 6:30. That's my personal opinion.
Well, even if they started at the traditional 7
even
o'clock
at 7,
time.
yeah, we're going to make the agenda smaller. Actually, I guess it didn't finish last night, so I'm actually got to go to the town hall today, make some appointments, have another meeting on Tuesday. We'll have another meeting. Some of them are long, some of these, hearings and everything else. And my biggest thing from day one is let the people speak. And I'm a stickler to that. A lot of members of the board don't like that. I represent the residents. Like I said, when I ran, I didn't know, no clue. I had no clue how this worked. And I've learned a lot in the last 3 years. It's been an eye-opening experience. Like I said, win or lose, I'd love to win again to continue to help the people. But it's not the death of me. It's not like, okay, if I lose, I'm going to die. I will continue to work my overtime that I've lost $35,000 worth already. I mean, I love this town. This town is my home. This town is my family. I will not do anything to hurt this town. I will not vote to benefit myself financially, myself or my family. It's not who I am. I want the best for the town. My decisions are my decisions. I know we just had a thing with the new police chief. I've had some people tell me that they're not going to vote for me because I appointed a certain person as police chief. And like I've told people, I says, I make decisions that people don't like. I said, we all make decisions in today's world that we have to make decisions. I guess I'm in the position now that I have to be a leader. I never thought I would become a leader, to be honest with you. This is, like I said, this was an eye-opening experience. But the decision I made for the chief, Chief Donna McNamara, was the best decision. Like I said, I knew all 5 candidates. I couldn't not say, okay, listen, do this one, do this one. I didn't want my hands cleaned, so that's why I didn't do interviews. If everybody, as you guys aired the tape, so thank you guys for doing it, airing it, show the people how the assessment center worked and who they recommended. This is what it's about. This is not no backdoor deal. That's not who I am. Like I says, the day I take a backdoor deal is the day I resign. And people tell me, how do I know when I resign? My wife is my rock. She supports me. She watches everything. And like I tell you, I will not do that. That's not the way I was brought up. Like it says, either love me, hate me. I am who I am. I'm not changing my ways. I'm sorry. I'm going to be 50 years old this year. Because they could bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Well, you brought up the police chief.
Yep.
And situation, and from what I've seen in terms of criticism, I have not seen criticism of who you selected. It was more criticism of how the selection process went. And it lasted a long time. It was about a 10-month process between the time that Chief Shastany left and there was a new permanent chief appointed. And then there was the situation at the end where the board decided to forego the public interview process. So do you feel that criticism of how the process went is valid, specifically that there should have been public interview process?
I'd say yes and no. I'm not going to say my opinion. It was no, because I knew who my candidate, I watched that tape and everything else. I read their things. So I know who I was going to vote for. I don't want to waste their time and no one else's time. I think certain members of the board, certain people of the board wanted there certain people in there. And this has been going on with the town for years. This is before my lifetime, Jeff, and your lifetime. This town's been love controversy for the past 100 years. Why do we have controversy? I have no idea. I guess it's a perfect example. I hate to say this, the schools there, the problems are going on with the schools. Like I said yesterday, I don't know the problems. I said, the people who are involved with it, I love to sit them in a room and sit them down and say, what happened? I don't know the stories. I hear so many different stories. I did this to help people. Like I says, the agendas, do I see people there for their own interest, for special interest groups? Yes, I do. I do see that. I ran to be transparent and hold people accountable, and I'm not done holding people accountable. There's still more things that need to come out, and I ask the people to support me again to come out to do this.
But you stand by the decision to not have the public interviews?
I do, because this is just my opinion. Like I told him, and like I said, he wanted discussion. I made the motion not to, like I says, I knew all 5 candidates, and you probably know all 5 candidates too, and a lot of people in town, you see them around, you know who they are. I said from day one, you can ask all of them, because I know who they all were, I was not going to keep my hands clean, like, hey, my hands are clean. I want an outside company to come in to tell us who the best person is and who's the most qualified, and that's what I would on. So, and they watched the tape and the interviews, and you read everything, and you explained everything, and you saw it. You were actually there taping it live, so you saw how they explained everything. They told you who our candidate was. So to go, it wasn't disrespect to any of the candidates. It's not disrespect to none of the other 4. They're all great people. The whole police department is great. But 4 are going to have to lose no matter what. We could have picked any of the other 4, Someone could have lost, I think certain members of the board wanted this assessment center to fail to prove that there were no candidates in-house. And I knew there was candidates in-house. The problem happened at the fire department. We brought an outside fire chief in, Michael Larcy, which I think is an asset to the town. He's a great guy. But the problem there too, the Stoughton firefighters did not have a chance to even get her to say, listen, you don't even have a chance. We gave these people a chance. They got the assessment center. We had the pros come and tell us, this is who we are. To waste my time and their time, and I should say waste, it's not really a waste, it's just, they've asked every question in the assessment center what we wanted from a chief. I know we wanted, and just a member of the board saying I didn't ask questions because I didn't know any questions. I had a lot of questions. What is your plan for the town in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? What is your goal for this department? What do you see with this department? Would you have a problem after, certain, go by, protocols, but would you have a problem firing a police officer? You know what I mean? These are things I'd ask. So these people putting words in my mouth saying I don't have any questions. I have a lot of questions. But I says, we hired a company to come in to do their job. You run the TV station. I don't come and tell you how to do your TV station. We believe in you to do your job. You do your job. We bring in pros. So who am I? And then, like I says, I see this town, and it's past and present members of the Board of Selectmen, Finance, Town Meeting reps, and Finance Committee. They want to run these departments. Why do we pay these people big money? It's not $20,000, $30,000. It's $70,000, $80,000, $90,000, $110,000 jobs, $120,000 jobs. And we're not taking their advice. It's not right. We're paying, the taxpayers pay big money. You yourself, myself, I pay big money. I know the water thing would, we changed the tier system on how it works for the condos to raise more money, but not just the condos, with apartments and buildings and everything else. Why should I keep putting on the regular taxpayers? Like I said, we got a school coming, we have a new high school, we have a potential new library. Now they come the other day for the South School. Listen, I'm all in favor of the school. I says, as you know, Jeff, even before I became a selectman, I've done all kinds of things with the schools, the kids and everything else. I want the best for this town. But you know what? I have to worry about my residents, my seniors, and how much more can we keep taxing us?
Well, let's continue off of that point, and that's a great segue into the budget. And I know it's a big priority of yours to be able to add public safety personnel. How do you do that, though, and add up to 4 for both police and fire?
Well, we actually got more for police coming on, and we have 4 for fire.
But how do you do that, though, balancing the budget, where there's already, the budget's already kind of strapped this year?
It is, and I personally, I think this is, excuse me, I got a cold, so try not to cough.
We appreciate that.
I think there's a lot of salaries that are much too high, and I still say I think there's positions that are not needed in this town. We finally got, trying to get for 2 ambulances, we should staff 3 ambulances at all time. And I don't care what anybody says. If we had to wait 28 minutes from a call from Mansfield for a resident on Porter Street, it's unacceptable. Every second counts, every life counts. Our paramedics in our fire department, they're one of the best around. You can ask anybody. People say Stoughton. They live in a dungeon.
But what will you cut for it, though?
What would I cut? I think it's this. I think certain positions need to be cut.
Do you specifics or?
I will not say, because I get bad mouthed that I want to try to run the town and I want to fire this one and fire that one. I've been accused of doing the things. Like I said, that's not our position. We're not allowed to do that. I know a perfect example is we have a human resource director that was found, quaff, I guess, continue without a finding. But the judge said if it continued to go forward, I sat in the courtroom, they would find him guilty of interfering with a police investigation. So you have a human resource director guilty of interfering with the police investigation, and he still has a job. And the town manager allows this. Say what you want. This town manager is not the right fit for the town. I'm telling you, I have nothing to lose.
Well, and you made that clear.
Oh, and I still make it clear.
Well, so what I'd like to ask about that is two things. One, you voted a few months ago not to renew his contract.
Yes.
Michael Hartman's contract when it expires at the end of the fiscal year. What's your plan if re-elected to the board for succession? Because that doesn't leave a lot of time between your re-election, which would come in April,
yes,
and the expiration of his contract at the end of June.
Hopefully in the next few weeks we got to bring in a company so the board can look. I don't think it should be a panel. I think it should be the board. I think it should be somebody who gives a damn about this town. That's just my personal opinion. I'll tell you right here, right now, if I don't get back in, I'll tell you right now, Rick Hill, Michael Sullivan, Pam Carr, and Cynthia Walsh, all like the town manager. If any of those 2 get in, and I do not get in, I'll tell you what's going to happen right now. He will get a contract, an extension on his contract for 3 years, and a big money, well over $200,000 per year. I see that coming. I'm telling you right now, I see that coming. They will give him a contract well over $200,000 a year because he wants to be the highest paid employee in town. And I'm not saying he does not deserve, I'm not saying somebody doesn't deserve that money, but you're only here to collect a paycheck, and we ask him to do things and he ignores us. And certain employees ask you to do things and they tell you, like if a resident wants something, I try to give the information. I don't work for you. You're just a selectman. That's, you know what? And they tell me I don't wear a tie, I don't do this, and I disrespect the office. I represent the businesses, the employees, and the residents. Like I said, I was at a resident this morning at 7:45. Monday night, I was on my way to work at 8:15. I was at a resident's house looking at problems before. I try to help people. They don't like me going to people's houses and this and that. We took an oath to what's right for the town of Stoughton. Not an oath to help your friends, certain groups. You can see it out there. I've started exposing things, and I'm not done exposing, and I'm going to expose more before my seat is up. Like I said, I love this town, my heart and soul. I will do everything. This town is my family. Are my views, how I do things, probably politically correct? No, but this is who I am. I've not changed my way in the 3 years since I've come. This is what I am. This is who I am. If you love me, thank you. If you don't, hey, I'm sorry.
Now, do you think it was, going back to the town manager, do you think it was fair not to evaluate him throughout the last couple of years? And, sure, your opinions and your views on his performance have been made, but not to do it in a formal document.
We did one when Mr. Cupro was the chairman.
Right, but that's over 2 years ago.
No, correct.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you how that went. You got to evaluate from 1 to 5. And of course, I put ones on all of them because, and then he was like, "Oh, you don't give him credit." When I ran for selectman, Mr. Cooper says, "Hey, he says, I wish you the best of luck." And I said, "Well, I tell you right now, if I get in, I'm going to make you the chairman because I played hockey with you. I knew you. I didn't know him that good, but I knew him as a kid, growing up in town." He says, "That'd be good." He goes, "I need, because I was set up here for a year prior with the former board, and they left him in the black. They didn't let him know nothing was going on." Same thing with the town manager. "Oh, he doesn't tell me nothing. Doesn't tell me nothing. So we're gonna let you." I said, "Good. We're gonna learn things." 3 or 4 months later, all of a sudden, the town manager is the best thing since sliced bread, and you ask what's going on. It's don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I need help here to learn. Like I said, I'm still learning a lot, and human nature is to learn every day, Jeff. Am I the best selectman up there? Am I the brightest bulb up there? Probably not. But you know what? You don't need to be a lawyer, a civil engineer, because they say these titles. If I want a title, I have a doctorate in transportation, Jeff. That's why I have a doctorate in transportation, because I have a Class A CDL license. I can drive doubles and triples and tankers and everything else. So does that make me a doctorate in transportation, driving a truck? These titles, because you got to be street smart and have passion. Like I says, it's not fear. And like I says, I see it, and I'm going to keep proving it. It's for their own friends, their own agendas, their own groups. I can't let this happen. This is, do I raise my voice and all that? Yeah, people like, "Oh, I'm a bully, I'm this." Listen, my size, I'm sorry. I wish I could be small. I can't. I've tried to lose weight. I'm down 100 pounds. I'm still 300 pounds. I've lost 100 pounds, but I can't get any smaller. My body doesn't, I love to eat. But you've known me for years, Jeff. So like I said, prior to the selectmen and everything else, I get along with everybody. I try to help everybody. It was a certain place in town, I'm not gonna say anything, had some issues. There was other members of the board that I says, and I know these people didn't support me or anything else. I said, "Well, why don't you call these other members of the board?" "Oh, I have, and they couldn't do nothing for me." So I finally got to me. I said, "All right, see what I can do." And I had the situation taken care of. But yet these people are going to go on Facebook and badmouth me, and I'm this and I'm that. Listen, you know what? If there's people hate in this world, terrorists, child molesters, and these cyberbullying now. They get online and, "Oh, you're this, you're this." Listen, say everything you want on Facebook. Do you really think I give a damn in plain English? No matter, like I said, when it's all said and done, I can walk around this town, my head held high, knowing I never took anything for this town and never hurt in this town. So, like I said, say what you want about me. I says, what you see is what you get, the real deal. Like it or not,
Now, the Board of Selectmen, you see the agenda, and there's the old and new business. A lot of times it's been staying the same the last few months. How can you get some of those topics moving? Do you agree with that, by the way, that a lot of these topics have kind of stayed in the queue for the last several months?
Like you says, the meetings last so long, you get to the point, like I said, I got to leave at 9:45 to be at work by 10:30. Right. I go to Charlestown. These meetings last too long. So now I was actually talking to one of the members today. He's like, "Oh, this is crazy." I said, "Listen, then I'm going to have another meeting. If we're going to meet every week for a couple hours, so be it." But like I says, it's every week. This is a job, Jeff. Like I says, I wish I could have my mother back for 5 minutes, and she told me it's evil. She was right, Jeff. It is. And like I said now, I wish everybody in the world could sit on any type of political field, because I see the corruption in this little town. This is a little town. Imagine you get into the city of Brockton, Quincy, Springfield, Worcester. Then you get to the state level. And then you get to the White House level, you know? Like it says, this is not my president. I don't like this one. What has happened to this country? 9/11 hit, everybody bonded, you know? A lot of people say, what do you think of him banning all Muslims? I says, I have friends that are Muslims. Not every Muslim's bad. Not every Portuguese person's bad. Not every black person's bad. If he did that ban should have been done throughout the whole country. I mean, every nation coming in. I said, I'm a first generation here. My parents are immigrants. My wife was an immigrant. She's an American citizen now, but I come from immigrants. I was told to provide. I push my kids now. My kids are like, why are you so much in school? Why are you so much in school? Because I don't want you to work a 50-hour shift like Dad does. I don't want you to work day and night. I says, I wish if I could go back now and change it, have a white-collar job and wear a shirt and tie, I would have done that. But guess what? I'm 50 years old. I've only got a few years left now. I says, but I am who I am. I make a living. I work a lot of hours to provide for my family. They tell me, you're leaving. Like I says, I'm leaving to go to work to provide for my wife, my children. I got to pay a shelter. My in-laws live with me. I says, I pay for, I have to have, my job is to provide for them. That's what my parents told me, provide. No. So, like you said, you can provide. You got to work. What? You got to work. You got to make it.
So what, with the last few minutes of the show, what's your vision of Stoughton for the next 3 years? If reelected, where do you want to take this town? What are your priorities for the next 3 years?
Excuse me. Sorry about that. I'd love to see maximum staffing on our fire department. I'd love to see 3 ambulances running at all times. I'd love to see our police department at full staff. Same thing with our DPW. The town side always gets hit. It's always the school. Listen, I'm all for the school and everything else. I says, my daughter will be the first class graduating 2020 from the new high school. It's an honor. Don't get me wrong. I says, I went to that school. You went to that school, Jeff. You know what it's like. But we got to bring this town forward. And we have to bring people who actually care about this town. I think there's a lot of employees, and I'm going to get ridiculed for this as always, but it is what it is. There's a lot of people in this town that are employees that don't live in town, and they don't care about the town. Say what you want to say. I see it. And they're going to tell you I'm lying and everything else. There's people that come and go where they want. I've talked about this flex time. He denies the flex time. People come and go when they want. This is my taxpayers' money. This is your taxpayers' money. Certain people can have a 2 or 3 hour lunch break, but somebody else can only have an hour. What is going on here? There's issues going on now that I can't discuss, but there's, I guess, the town hall stays open until 7:30, and I guess there's one employee now that made a deal that don't have to work until 7:30 or 7 o'clock on a Thursday night. So how is it good for this one person and not good for the other person? So, say what you want. A lot of people say that Michael Hartman has done a lot of great things. Show me what. I've talked to a resident today that he was supposed to meet with this person, and he's never met with this person. He only meets with certain individual people, and that's why I've called that bluff. That's why they don't like me. It's wrong.
So what type of town manager are you looking for? I'm not asking, necessarily for a particular person, but just what type of town manager?
We need somebody who lives in this town, when the people see them all the time, I don't want to go to you go everywhere. I says, we can't be everywhere. Like I said, they say I'm everywhere. If you see me everywhere. And like I says, and that bothers me. This guy doesn't come to nothing. I said, no matter where I go. I actually had over this past weekend, I was out Home Depot and Market Basket and Stop and Shop, and people come to me straight out and says, there's current members of the board and past members of the board that want you out. And I laughed. I said, I know who they are. I'm not worried about it. And they're like, oh yeah, they want Rick Hill, Mike Sullivan, Pam Carr, Cynthia Walsh, John Submergent, and then you. They don't even want you in there. And I says, it is what it is. It's up to the people. Let the people vote, Like I said, you call me, I'm there. So,
looking back at the last 3 years, what's been your biggest achievement on the board, and what is something that you would like to maybe have a redo on?
We've got properties now. We're starting to sell properties. We've got about $50 million of properties we can start selling. We can start to get that. We changed the ambulance policy. I wish years ago these waters, I started raising the water a little bit more and more every year, but this water problem and everything else has come way before me. You know, then everything's falling on us now. We need a new water treatment center. We need things. What happened 20, 30 years ago, these people on the board, you know? Those disrespects, Cynthia Washburn on the board. You don't want to keep raising, yeah, you got to worry about our seniors and all that, but everything keeps going up. Another thing that he's got this grid. Everybody gets a 2%, 2.5% raise all the time. Well, guess what? In the real world, not everybody gets 2.5% all the time. Certain people get 2.5%, and other people want 5 or 6 and 10%. It's wrong. You know, you perform evaluation. They want certain people to evaluate. Who would they evaluate? They don't evaluate themselves. Like I said, that human resource director on that thing with the court case, and yet he allows it. And it's the time. This is why people don't see this. If this is what you want for the town, and you don't want me in here, hey, I'm okay with that. Like it says, David Spanky Sousa will continue to live with my wife and my children. My life will continue. It's not like I'm going to die. Hey, thank you for 3 great years. It's been an honor and a privilege serving this town. But say what you want. Right here, Jeff.
Do we have to blur this out?
No, you don't have to blur this out, Jeff. See this? This is where I wear my pride. My town, Stoughton. This is my home. This is my family. Like it or don't like it, it's who you get. If you vote me back in, you're going to get the same guy you've seen. You call up, I'm at your house. I want to help. Do some people on the board and other members of the board and former members and all that don't like me? Certain employees don't like me? Absolutely, because they don't like me because I call their bluff. I want a thumbprint time clock. That's one thing I'm going to push as I get back in, because there's people that come and go when they want. We see it. And if we're seeing it, don't you think other people see it? But if you confront them, don't worry about it. I'm the town manager, the town charter. It's not I'm not here to run the day-to-day operations. You know what I mean? If there's an issue, hey, what happened? How it's going? I want to know what's going on. Keep us informed. I'm not here to run day-to-day operations. But when we ask for something and certain things, and the charter gives me the right, the charter. That charter's got to be changed. That's another thing that's going to be changed. The charter's got to be changed. Maybe it's time for a mayor and city council. Certain people, because it's the same people. Jeff, you've been here long enough. It's the same people over and over again and complaining, and they get their certain things done. It's wrong, man.
Oh, clock's just about to expire. I'll give you 10 seconds to wrap up, give a final thought.
Look for your support. You believed in me 3 years ago. I hope I get your support again. I hope I gain more support. Like I said, I've made some friends. I've lost some friends. But it's all for the love of the town of Stoughton, Jeff. So I ask for your vote on April 4th to go in and continue to do what I do. If not, thank you, Stoughton, for 3 wonderful years. It's been my honor and privilege serving the businesses, the employees, and most of all, the residents. I will take that to my grave. So thank you, everyone.
All right, well, Spanky, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for tuning in to Conversations with the Candidates on this episode of Stoughton Spotlight. Again, there are 6 candidates running for 2 seats on the Board of Selectmen in this April's town election. Want to thank Michael Hammond for directing, and once again, thanks for tuning in to Stoughton Spotlight, and I'll see you next time.
Can I just one quick thing? Can you change the name to Politics with Pickette?
I'm not sure about that. We'll have to look into that.
Look into that one, please. Thank you.
All right. Thanks again for tuning in.
Thank you.